Are we taping?
We are now.
Oh. All right.
You said you had music.
I did. And I do.
Do it.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes from the world of low-dollar endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff. Oh, and I'm Jeff.
Silence.
Because there is no mental.
Oh, and I'm Jeff. Okay, and I'm Chrissy. And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming back to a lemony episode of our podcast. It's 106 because Chris looked on the internet to try to find something that was 106. We couldn't come up with anything, so it's a lemony episode.
We could say a mental-less episode.
Mental-less episode,
there
sure.
were a lot of like state statute 106 covering, you know.
That's super boring.
Like, exactly.
No, you're not allowed
I can't
to
even
have
come up with
chickens
something
in a
as
yard
boring.
that's
Right, exactly.
Yes, you're not allowed to have goats or chickens in a yard that's not 1/3 of an acre or something like that. Anyway,
That's
if you're not driving, if you're not driving a car, make sure you get your bingo card. We haven't updated it too lately, but there's a lot of people that are trying to get bingo, so do it yourself. We are going to go around and do what you working on. I love when I ask Chris, what are you working on? Like I don't already know.
Nothing. Working on
Right?
some butt sitting. That seems like a good time.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, we've had it's 2 weeks since we've been on the show. We had a great trip to Colorado. Chrissy, I know you're going to talk a little bit more about that, but we visited with some other Lemons racers out there. We had dinner with Rich and Mona and with Bob and Brett and Jeff and Jan and all of the Colorado crew, and got to see the Checker in person, which is a magnificent vehicle. It was a good time. Lovely people. A lot of grilling, grilled meats, beers.
Well,
normal Lemons event.
States, those square states, once you get out of those square states, you're not allowed to eat chicken. Like, you either eat beef or, if you want to go light, you eat pork. But there really are no other options.
We had sausages.
Well, yeah. Beef,
it's not
sausage.
right. It's not chicken, and
Yeah.
we had little sausages and shrimp and steak. Yeah, so we didn't actually have chicken. You're right.
So then been doing a bunch of roll cage work on the Solstice, getting that ready to go, and winterizing the boat. In fact, just tonight, finally got the boat winterized and put to the side of the house and parked until April. So summer is over officially, even though the air conditioning's still on.
Yeah.
Well, it's hot, so why? That's fine.
Chrissy, why don't you fill in what he didn't say?
Sure, yeah. I'll give you the quick rundown of all of the things we did. We jam-packed our... so basically, I went out west. I worked for a few days. I had dinner with Johan, his wife, and another of their racing team, and we had a great time. But go ahead.
That is the GD Yo
The
Man,
GD
right?
Yo Man, yes. And
G period D period Yo Man.
pretty much. And he was like normal GDO man, which is awesome because I see him in varying stages of sober to drunkenness. Although I guess he probably could say the same thing about me. So we had a great time. So then after that, I went to Colorado and did some work there for a little bit, and then I met Chris at the airport. I picked him up, and then we went way out into the mountains. So we went is it OHV? OHV?
Yep. Well, we went through Rocky Mountain National Park first.
Yep. And then we went on an OHV, and then we went cliff jumping and hot springings and hiking and ghost town picking, and we did a trip up Pikes Peak, and that's about. And then we went and I spent some time in Denver, drank a lot of beer, ate a lot of chili cheese fries, and then and then we had dinner with Rich and Mona and team. Go ahead, Jeff.
WTF OHV.
Like an ATV.
Highway vehicle.
Side by side. Like a ATV.
The side by side.
Yeah, we decided that we did not want to do it a ATV because one of us would be jostling behind the other person the whole time. So we decided a side by side was totally worth it.
Yeah. Side by side. I know what that is. I just
We had
don't know
a
what
Polaris Razor, which is a 600cc single cylinder, slightly bigger than ATV, sit next to each other, and amazingly capable, as we found out. Really, that was impressive.
by force, by no other option, on going down basically like hiking trails. What did Chris say? This is the trail is 50 inches and the truck is 49 inches. And there were times where we did not think. I thought we weren't gonna die. So it was super exciting. Got it on three wheels a couple times.
No.
No.
I got us on three wheels a couple times.
Yep.
We made it.
We did it. We did fine.
And you drove.
Okay. I did. Okay, so now we have to play my favorite game show, Guess the Rental.
Oh, okay. No, wait. We need more than that. Okay. Airport rental, right?
Airport rental.
Yep. Whose account was it on?
Doesn't really matter. It was Chris's.
Because you might want to you might upgrade if it's your account.
We are both on Emerald Club.
It was through my work corporate deal that I get certain perks that go along with it in a set.
Okay. So you were on the Emerald Club. You weren't on AmeriGas's. You have $12 a day and must make a rental.
I have Emerald Club as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna guess.
Denver Airport. You can ask questions too.
Oh, there's this random dude who showed up at the show.
Oh, everyone knows whose voice that is by now.
I know, but it's the first time he said anything. Go ahead. Somebody guess.
So you're in Denver.
Yes, correct.
I'm gonna guess Ford Explorer.
Oh no, there is no way in hell that there was a Ford Explorer rental. Like if there was a Ford Explorer and a Kia Rio, they might take the Kia Rio.
No,
we had a Ford Explorer at the Barber race one year.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't very good.
Well,
but
I'm just thinking like your Emerald Club.
Oh yeah,
you're somewhere up there.
Well, no, Eric, you're not far off in that. Like, think about the activities.
I'm thinking SUV.
Right? It's an SUV.
I'm just not thinking Ford.
Okay.
I'm thinking import SUV.
Okay, and
Jeff,
I'm going to go. You also know some of my predilections on which rental cars to avoid.
Oh yeah,
the Jeep Compass, the Nissan Rogue, anything Hyundai or Kia.
You're telling him all the answers.
No, he knows better than that.
Okay.
Eric, yes,
it's a RAV4.
It's not, but
that is a good choice.
Yeah, that was
an
option.
Yeah,
that was my secondary option. I say because I had to pick it out because I got to the airport before he did.
Chrysler Pacifica.
No. Oh my God, no! What?
I was only kidding. I wouldn't say that.
All right, you ready?
Pick it.
Last chance.
Mitsubishi.
No.
All
right. Now, see, I would have taken that. Go on. I give up.
Nissan Frontier.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Frontier is probably the only Nissan that I think you would probably take out of a rental fleet. Yeah. I didn't expect a Frontier to be in a rental fleet. So
I've had a rental Frontier before for a Lemons race. It was absolutely awesome.
It was a 4x4.
It's a really great brand new 15-year-old car. Is what it is.
But it did have Apple Play, or whatever you call that, which I liked, that you could play off of your phone.
Well, it had a USB port to plug into the stereo.
Sure, yeah. So it's fine. Yes. Okay. So
like the quality of the interior materials is kind of crappy, but it's felt like just like a good, honest, simple truck, and handled surprisingly well around Pikes Peak, and had decent power, and was fine in all the dirt, crappy off-roady things we did it with it. And 20 miles to the gallon. Sorry.
I heard on another podcast from another Lemons guy that the Nissan Frontier sells so well because it is the cheapest little truck that's actually a little truck.
It's not bad.
It's not a fake truck. It's actually like a real body on frame, and it's real. It's not like some crappy trying to be a truck thing.
At this point, Nissan's wearing out the tooling on it because they've been making the same thing for so long. Stuff's not going to fit with the older ones anymore.
No, exactly.
It was like an old truck with electronics that worked and stuff. Okay, we'll move on. Thanks for playing. We're now back to real life. Now we have. I was also, since we are going. We didn't talk about this at all. We're headed to an HPD this weekend up at Watkins Glen. Yay! So I started making a track map just so we have a clue of where we're going because we've never been there. So I have not finished it. It's pretty close, and we've been talking to some people that have been there. So we're going with Garage Heroes. We'll be able to return. We'll be able to talk more about that next week when we come back.
Yeah, I'm totally jealous. I have to work all weekend.
Jealous. You have to work, and then you can't even go.
I know.
We'll have fun. Jeff, what are you doing?
Well, I took it since you all were coming back from the Midwest. Midwest? What is it? The Rockies?
Yeah, the Mountain West. The Midwest is where Eric lives.
Yeah. Mountain West. Yeah. So the Square States. Since you guys were coming back from the Square States, I did trailer stuff. I did an entire day of trailer stuff. And so I have a 20-foot enclosed with absolutely nothing in it and a V front end. So I put in shelf stuff and E-track and a bunch of like tie downs in specific locations so I could put the fuel bottles in. I bought and assembled a Harbor Freight 5-drawer tool cart, bright green because orange was sold out. And I have to say thanks again to the Harbor Freight coupon database, hfqbdb.com, for saving me like $40. Never buy anything at Harbor Freight without looking for a coupon first. And then on Sunday, I did roll cage stuff at Chris and Chrissy's house. I do have to say, I forgot to mention last week that I did a lot of electronics into the wife's car. I installed her Sirius satellite radio, and I installed a dash cam because she drives on terrible roads. And I have to tell this wonderful story. I was putting in the It's
a great story, Jeff. Thanks.
It's a great story. Sorry, Chris is texting me that my microphone sounds terrible. I'm going to try and fix it.
I was
fix
hoping
it later.
You would do it after you finish your story.
No, we don't. We fix it.
Don't crash.
I think you're in the tube of mockery. But
I was.
You're so much better.
Sorry. When my computer fell earlier, it must have fallen out.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah. So So I put some electronics in the wife's car, and I was putting a memory card, a micro whatever, into the camera, and I shoved it in the slot, and it's poked back out. I shoved it in the slot, and it poked back out. And I shoved it in the slot, poked back out, and I shoved it in the slot, poked back out. So I took it out, and I was like,
"It's a Saturday night."
So bad.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm going to make this memory card stick, and I shoved it in, and it felt a little resistance, but I didn't let that stop me. So I shoved hard.
Usually doesn't.
And the memory card didn't go into the memory card slot. It just entered the plastic body of the camera and disappeared.
Yep.
So I have a $40 Chinese dash cam with a $60 memory card lost inside of it. I'm very upset.
You can't shake it out?
No.
Shaking a $40 dash cam is probably not going to have great results.
Well, yes. They're tiny, so they're really not much bigger than a GoPro. So there's not a lot of space in it for it to rattle around. It's gone. It's gone.
Oh
well.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, now that I have a microphone, I can do my big announcer voice and say we are happy, always happy, to have our fifth host. Although we should just call him fourth host today because Mental is missing.
The fourth host.
Numbers are hard.
Numbers are hard. He's going to be here to talk about the 2020 Lemons schedule along with other things. He's still number one in our hearts, even though my mother told me not to talk to rude guys. Eric Rood.
Never heard that one before.
Seriously?
Jesus.
Eric,
right to the name. As mentioned.
Wait. Would you prefer I did it old school? Straight from Detroit. Even though he doesn't live in Detroit.
You're hitting all the high marks, Jeff. You're just on point today.
Way to make a guest feel welcome.
Yeah, he may not want to come back next time.
We're surprised he keeps coming back at all.
Better to do.
That's
straight from Illinois.
Wow.
No longer in Kandahar's basement.
Right?
Eric Rood, the everything bagel of Lemons. What you working on?
I'm working on the 2020 schedule, as you mentioned, which is not a small undertaking.
No.
We'll get into that in a bit. I am also working on building a valve cover race car. Again, we'll get to that in a minute. And in other things we're going to get to in a minute, I am researching Nelson Ledges because there's an important milestone coming up.
Oh. So many teasers. Just click here and you'll learn about all these things.
This one crazy trick
Yeah.
will help you remember the worst Lemons race of all time.
I have to say that
But Lemons doesn't want you to know.
I'm
Yeah.
we're going to forgive you for not being a regular listener, but we have decided that world is plural since the last time you were on, and it is always going to be Nelson's
Oh, you're
legends
right. Oh my God.
in our life.
I spaced on that. It's always
okay.
Nelson's.
Nelson's.
Nelson's ledges.
Ledges.
It's like it's Pitt's race.
Pitts race.
It's race. Yeah.
We can make fun of him because he's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we can make fun of him when he is here.
I
That's true.
suppose you're
That
right.
doesn't usually
Is
stop
mental
us.
secretly a Yinzer? I didn't know this.
Oh,
Oh,
a Pittsburgher,
wow.
a Yinzer.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut.
We have to do some more research on that. Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
Yinz guy's going to go downtown catch a Broncos game. News and notes time.
Jeff.
I got one. So this is Mazda 3 news that Chrissy and I care about because we are Mazda 3ophiles. The new Mazda 3 is not selling well, and Mazda is going to fix it in 2020 by adding equipment and making it more expensive. 2018 was the worst year for U.S. sales of Mazda 3 since Bill Clinton was president. Back in 2000, the last time Mazda failed to sell more than 65,000 compacts. The Mazda 3 wasn't even the Mazda 3. They still called it the Protege. So yeah, there is so few Mazda 3s being sold right now. And, cars in general are taking a lot of hits and not doing a lot of sales, but it's absolutely terrible how many people aren't buying Mazda 3s.
I was reading someday that actually the Civic of all cars is selling really well. I think because it has so many different choices. Like it goes from stripper model to loaded up. There's hatchbacks and Type Rs and coupes and sedans and all kinds of choices. But that one's bucking the trend, even though it's horribly ugly compared to the Mazda.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the new Mazda 3 TCR car, though?
I was going to put that in there. Go ahead. You could talk about it if you want.
It's just a TCR car, which is a real race car running in the TCR classes. It'll run in the IMSA, Michelin, whatever.
Yeah, who knows what it's... Whichever insert American company here to sponsor the race.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, but it's got a big wing, big front splitter, huge fender flares, and 330-ish horsepower. So.
And a long roof. Don't forget. Hashtag long roof for life.
I would drive this.
Yeah, the flares really work with the body style. Like they just flow naturally on that. That's nice. Mm-hmm. Well, let's hope for a Speed 3 coming out at some point using the turbo out of the Mazda, the CX-9.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'd buy that.
And I'm in the market for a car. Just
All right.
figure it out.
Who else has a story? Chris?
Well, some news from the head tech of Lemons, evil genius and terror of many, John Pagel. Counterfeits of belt harnesses. We talked about this last week. You've seen the video, and you've seen these things before, but really they're spread out pretty much. So we're going to make sure you can identify them easily. John said he found a car this past weekend at the Lemons race at Buttonwillow with the rung belts. The team struggled to find another set so they could race. So if you have some sub-belt harnesses in your car, especially if you bought them online, check them. There's a bunch of little key indicators. Like the fake ones don't have the little hole in the latch for the latch clips to put a pin. Cotter pin, yeah. Right. Things like that, like the color of the latch on the link.
The
different.
hologram on the SFI tag. That's if you don't have a legit looking SFI tag, run away. Also, don't forget there is rumors out there that there are also Takata and there's another manufacturer, Sparco, fake belts from the same Chinese operation.
So if you buy your safety equipment from Ali online, you might want to reconsider what you bought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's generally best to buy from a speed shop if you can.
Yeah.
Because they buy directly from the manufacturers. So that's your little hint.
Yeah, or get it from the manufacturer, like Crow, for example. They're a small little business that you can just deal directly with, and they'll reweb your stuff and all that stuff. So anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right. Who else got a story? It's Brown. It must be you, Eric.
Thank you. I feel like that's an insult. Anyway,
it's the color of an Oldsmobile station wagon. That's the kind
it
of
is.
that makes me think.
which I no longer own. I guess that could have been in the what am I working on? That car has been purchased and perhaps El Caminoized and is going to go on the Texas Rally. So
that's
Nice.
very fitting. Excellent.
Awesome.
I was offered $150 for it, and I said, I don't care how much you give me as long as there's a 1, a 5, and a 0 in it. So I got a PayPal for $51.50, which is properly Van Halen.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, anyway.
Cool.
Beyond that, so tomorrow, October 3rd, is the 10th anniversary of Lemon's notorious trip to Nelson's Ledges in Garrettsville, Ohio.
It was so bad.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to talk to you about that because right now what we are working is collecting Lemons Racers stories from that particular event so we can properly tell of the drug bridge, the innovative tire wall, the Verdun levels of mud, the wrecked Cadillac, the blood-spattered hotel rooms, and the most utterly effed up Lemons race we've ever done. If you were there and you want to help tell that story, you have something to add, send me an email, and that's Eric at 24hoursoflemons.com. And I'll tell you more about what you need to do so that we can use your stories. Basically, we want to tell this ridiculous story in the manner in which it deserves to be told because it's just the most unbelievable thing that's probably ever happened in Lemons.
Yeah.
Is this going to be like a puppet theater straight to YouTube with lots of ASMR? Because I think that's how I think it would be most appropriately told.
You want ASMR, like narration?
Yeah, no, just the whole thing.
No, it's going to be video, which is why.
Duh.
Yeah, it will be a video retelling, and I can't wait until they get Jay in front of the camera to get real animated and amped up. I've already seen some clips that we've collected, and Phil and Johnny telling their story in the back of a Toyota Century driving through Tokyo is part of it, so that's going to be great.
Nice.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah, we picked up the Wartburg at that race.
Yep.
And got it running and did penalties with it and, even unfortunately wandered into the bathroom and saw the cardboard shanty towns and...
Yeah.
Well, Chris, you'll have to write in.
Apparently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, speaking of 10-year anniversaries, this past Monday, which was September 30th, was the 10th anniversary of Hooniverse.com. Tim O'Dell, Jeff Glucker, Camille Kaluski, the whole gang, including myself, have all contributed to Hooniverse, and a lot of the writing staff have gone on to be major parts kind of the automotive journalism world. So still one of my favorite little corners of the automotive web, and the commenters at Hooniverse, still fantastic people.
And some of them have been on our show, which is awesome.
Excellent. I didn't know Glucker had been on the show. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, early, right? We haven't had him in
It
a
was
while.
fairly early. Yeah, he was still working on that Mercedes at the time. He might still be working on the Mercedes. But,
I think he dumped it finally. I think he has another one.
Yeah,
It depends on which one you were talking about. I don't
blue
know.
one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he still has that one.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk races and race results. A couple of races recently. Eric, you want to talk about what you've been to?
I was at Buttonwillow. I did not go to Brainerd, obviously. They shared the weekend. If you guys want to start with Brainerd, feel free to jump in. You probably know as much about it as I do.
Well, at least we know there was 24 cars, 3 BMWs, no Miatas, 3 Hondas, no Porsches, but an AMX. So that's Van Halen. Go for it, right?
That's not a ton of cars for a Lemons event.
Well, we got to settle this right here in Brainerd, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That was one of the greatest bribed stencils I have seen in a very long time.
I do have it on good authority that at least one scene of Fargo was recreated via penalties. So
Nice.
Excellent. All right, so overall it was Gorilla Sticker in a boring BMW, followed by, this is amazing, the United Partnership of Pentastar Racers in their not very boring, but usually exciting in a bad way, Plymouth Sundance Duster. Nothing says race car like a Plymouth Sundance Duster.
No,
And how do they even find that in Brainerd? They're in Minnesota. They're like, there's no cars like that exist out there.
They found one somewhere in the Midwest. Who knows?
I know.
Yeah,
And
jeez.
third was Rattlesnake Electric Sport, and that's 79 AMX, which also somehow set the fastest lap of the race with a 148.4.
That car, and they also have a Javelin, are basically like pro touring cars. They built them with no consideration of the 11's budget. They just built whatever the hell they wanted to build. So
yeah, and it's an AMX and a Javelin, so we say, all right.
All right, what are you going to do?
Pretty much, yeah. They had a bunch of penalty laps to keep them from winning, and it turns out that it kept them from winning. So
yeah,
oh, there you go.
Good thing.
What they got in there? Like some kind of LS swap? Did you?
I think it's an AMC 360 or a 401.
Oh, that would not have gotten a penalty lap from me.
But they've worked it
though.
over. Yeah,
It's
the
all
suspension
suspension,
is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also raced the Prius out west with the Fire Chicken on it.
Oh, that's good. So, yeah, we already mentioned it, but the B-Class win was actually the partnership of Pentastar Racers. So, B in second place. I guess welcome to A. No, you probably don't put a Sundance to A. Was it a convertible? They had convertibles of those. Probably not. I saw it online. It was. I know.
The convertibles have
that.
all definitely broken in half by now because they had all the rigidity of a piece of cooked lasagna noodle.
Yeah. So second went to Third Stall Performance in a 91 CRX, and Team Priority Fail in a 97 Golf GTI VR6 rear wheel drive. Finished fourth overall, and that was fourth overall. Yes, thank you.
God's Chosen Class, only 5 cars, which is crazy. 20% of the field. Definitive winners were the Hyundai of Avid Fleet Racing, finished 8th overall. Wow. Second in C went to Brown Rubber Soul Racing in their 81 Mazda 626. They were 10th overall. And then in third was Gutless Cutlass Racing in an awesome 82 Cutlass Supreme, which I think I had one of those. I'm pretty sure that's what I had.
I thought you had a Cutlass Sierra, honey. Yeah.
Sierra, yeah.
Sierra.
Sorry.
That's not nearly as
Whatever.
cool, but it's more Fargo.
Yeah.
A Brome. I'm sorry, I missed that in the next line. They managed 15th overall. And Eric, do you have any ideas on any other awards?
I put all this stuff in the results deal today. Let me look up. Let's see. I got it. Yeah. So the heroic fix went to. God, this is sideways. I have to read it like that. The Mazda 626 got the heroic fix. The Wonderment Consortium Saab got the I Got Screwed. The Knuckle Children of Job BMW got the Life of the Paddock.
That's amazing.
Great name.
I believe they fed the paddock curry, and it was supposed to be really good. The regional award was the Pray for Rain, which was an Audi from Glacial Pace Racing. That was the team, by the way, last year who had a Daewoo
Laganza, wasn't it?
Laganza lined up to come race, and it caught on fire in their driveway. So they didn't race that. Judge's choice went to Liability Only, which was a 99 Mazda 626. So there were two 626s.
Two 626s. That's awesome.
An 81 and a 99. The IOE went to the Pentastar Duster for finishing second. And the organizer's choice went to Suspect Crew, which is a car we had seen exactly one time before. It is a Mercedes C230 with a Ford Pinto swap in it. So they threw away the compressor and they put in a Ford Pinto. And if I remember that whole story, they worked at a junkyard. And it was like, well, we've heard of lemons and people do weird things. So we have a car and we have an engine. I guess we just do the thing. And then they showed up with a Pinto in the most mystifying chassis of all time.
Well, it gets rid of all those weird Mercedes electrical gremlins that you get with those, at least. When you need like 4 wires to run it. That works.
Yeah, they also have... They made their own header, and it like is just like this web of like snakes that goes like up and around like the steering column and the sub. It's so bizarre.
Trying to make one of those equal length 180 degree headers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Buttonwillow. That was a big race, though. There was 108 cars, 19 BMWs, which is boring. Yep, 9.5 Miatas, 1 Honda, or 2 if you count the Sterling, which you can count the Sterling. It just it's
no,
better.
It's
Sterling almost counts as half. It's so much cooler. I still want an 827 SLI. 4 Porsches.
The Sterling, by the way, has 297,000 original miles on it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
See, that makes it a Honda. And importantly, the Homer was back.
I'm so excited to see the Homer back.
Yeah, we saw that when it was originally out in California, right after they debuted it. It was great. And, of course, the
Otis.
Otis. And lack of Hondas aside, it looks like it was really quite a field that they had at Buttonwillow. There was a Rover, an Opel, a Sterling, a Lante, an Omega, Cavalier. Overall was hella shitty in their boring 86 BMW. Lap back was occupied pit lane, and a lap behind them was Eyesore. So, usual crew there.
That is definitely like a top 4 all-stars finish right there.
I don't know where Cerveza went, but Black Iron Racing was there with show listener and GRM OG Dan Gillis, and they had the camper out there. And Dan said it was their first 2-car effort, and they held first briefly before a shredded tire betrayed them.
Been there.
All about that.
Anything about that at all? Yeah.
Harump.
Okay.
So the hardest class A or B, the hardest class B, Area 51 Alien Pimps, great name, in an 87 RX-7, followed by, I'm going to mispronounce German things now.
Right.
Uber Vogel Hans Am.
You got it right, actually.
Did I? All right, good. In an 87 Mighty Mercedes 190. The mighty 190. Oh, finally, Silicone Junkyard Racing in a 68 Datsun Roadster, which it looks like, it says here, it looks like somebody pulled it out of someone's yard on the way to a track. I have to admit that my father still talks about his 68 2000 Datsun Roadster as being one of the fastest cars he has ever driven.
He must not drive fast cars.
No,
Does he want to drive some Does he want to drive some fast cars?
Of course.
I got fast cars. Of course. All right. California's God-chosen class, 18 cars. Winner was Ranwin Parked Racing entry. Yes, that is the Cadillac Alante. They were 29th overall. They actually sent us a picture, I believe, because they're very excited about their win. Second was in Restart Racing in the 91 Ford Ranger, which is amazing. We love trucks on track. And third in C was the other Black Iron entry, the Opel. Opel, right? Is it an Opel?
Opile.
Is it an Opile? Because that's how it's spelled here.
They call it the Opile. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why
But
it's not.
It is an Opel of some
It's
sort,
an Opel
right?
Cadet. Yeah.
Cadet.
Yes. Okay. So Eric, fill us in on what we've missed. There's Spank was there. How did that go? And do you have more? You have more. Apparently, the party looked amazing.
Yes.
It was a pajama party. I think. Tell us what we missed.
Well, it wasn't a pajama party, but we'll get to that. So Spank has owned for most of 10 years. He's owned a DAF 55, which is a Dutch car with a belt drive.
I'm Googling this right now.
We've seen this when we were at Spank's Garage a number of years ago and said, I've never even heard of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so he was like saving this car for a special occasion, and it became clear that whatever special occasion Spank had in mind was never going to happen. So 6 months ago, he decided, I'm finally going to bring this car. And
what does this say? DAF? D-O-F?
DAF.
Oh, DAF. Okay.
Dutch Automotive something or other.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. So the car goes as quickly in reverse as it goes in forward. So if you look up reverse race Netherlands, there's just tons of races where they would race these things backwards. It was like this freak show kind of thing. So whatever special occasion Spank had in mind was never going to happen. He decided like 6 months ago he was going to bring this car out. And you would think, a normal person would think, 6 months, better get started now. No. Spank started on it about 2 weeks before the race. Realized that the clutch discs that kind of mate to from the drive shaft into the CVT were all like hosed. So he tried to order them from the Netherlands, who apparently don't understand rush shipping. So he basically cobbled it together, like welded in bad clutch discs, and like the 5 good ones was going to be good enough out of like 12 or something. So this thing's just cobbled together. It's 3 lug wheels with positive camber on all 4 wheels and a swing axle.
It's so cute.
And then, the transmission is 2
belt driven.
2
right?
belts. Yeah, 2 belts that basically go from the CVT to the drive shafts. So it's an open diff in theory, but like if you hit bumps, like the belts pick up slack. He said it was the most terrifying thing he's ever driven through a corner. Just because
that's terrifying.
all the way through the whole corner.
Yeah, coming from Spank, that means a lot more than most people.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, it was slow, but it ran kind of. He ended up, something got unbalanced in the drive shaft, so he cobbled that together. All of that ultimately ended up being like 3rd on his level of priorities because he built this elaborate paddock setup to throw an Amsterdam red light district party on Saturday night. So
Okay.
Dutch car. You know, he had a windmill that he built. It was like 15
I saw the
feet
windmill.
tall. There were beds with mannequins all dressed up on them. Spank was dressed in ways I can't begin to describe. Rich Chesavage in a dress. Like the whole thing.
He had wooden shoes, though.
He had clogs on all weekend.
Yeah,
and
they were
dyed hair
wooden.
orange. Yeah. It was classic Spank.
See, now the pictures I saw on the internet make so much more sense now.
They don't, though. That's the best.
Because I saw them talking about the wooden shoes, and I was like, that's really weird. Wooden shoes are pretty cool, but why are they obsessed by his wooden shoes?
And we definitely saw some frightening pictures of both DC Doug and Johan.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was plenty of that. So it was, in theory, a pajama party, but they didn't want to give away the red light district thing, so it wasn't like super cranked, but there were definitely some people wearing lascivious outfits, shall we say. Which is...
Never done that at a Lemons race.
Nothing is ever... I've never seen anything at a Lemons race that has ever been actually sexy, so this continues that trend as
you
well.
have to hang out in our hot tub more often because
Ooh.
No, that'll continue his trend.
No, that's gonna
Nothing
not
but
any
man
better.
soup in there. That's all.
Ew.
Say, Matt is in there sometimes. That's sexy. I don't know. I'm joking.
Yeah. So that was Spank. We ended up giving him the Life of the Paddock Award, but we really could have given him any of them. Heroic Fix went to Hella Shitty's Beetle. They cooked a head gasket on the Subaru engine in that thing, and when they were taking the head off, they snapped at least 2 of the head bolts and couldn't get them out. So they were able to get the head off, so they put the gasket in, put the head on, like made this slurry of epoxy like around where the head mates, and then they took an L bracket and just cranked the hell out of it with bolts so that it would grab, and it ran all day. Yeah, it ran all day Sunday.
Way.
Yeah. So that was great.
All right.
The I Got Screwed, I actually misclassed the Class B car, which won last year. Button Willows, the second place car, ended up with the I Got Screwed. As it so happens, that's a car that's raced in Lemons, the Uber Vogel car, since 2007, and it raced at Altamont. Got hit hard enough there enough times that the right side of the car is 2 inches shorter than the left side in wheelbase.
I mean, Altamont was a long time ago.
Yeah, 12 years ago. So, what else was there? The regional award went to the Short Bus guys. They're the team that famously bought the first 2 $500 cars they found, which was a Jeep Grand Cherokee and a Mercedes C280.
One of those is a good choice.
No, neither of them was. But they put the youngest member of the team, which was the car owner's 18-year-old son, in the car, and as he was coming off the track, he couldn't see over the steering wheel because he is like 4 inches shorter than me. And he drove directly into the pit wall, like as he's turning the wheel, like he just smashed the entire left front corner off the car. So we called that one. I crashed my dad's Mercedes.
Nice.
Judge's choice went to a Lexus SC300 with a
2JZ, yo.
2JZ.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
It was done up like a pigeon. They had a big pigeon on the roof and then pigeon poop all over it. It doesn't sound that funny, but it was actually really funny. And then they were the classic rookie team that sucked, and then they got better all weekend. A base model Cobalt won the organizer's choice. They all work at a GM dealership, so they could have put all the speed parts on it. Instead, they brought an automatic Cobalt with the crappy base model engine, and then they fixed everybody else's car, which was a good org choice.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the IOE was Short Bus Racing's other vehicle, which is the Grand Cherokee that beat half the field. So
There you go.
there you go. That's Buttonwell. I
Excellent.
will say my favorite story from the whole weekend that I probably should have given a trophy to, but didn't, was a bunch of rookies with a Geo Metro convertible, and it had the Suzuki Swift GT twin cam in it.
Oh,
Whoa.
watch out.
So I'm talking like
Is that
I'm talking
1 liter?
1.3.
1.3.
1.3. Okay.
Sounds
So I'm
like a
talking to the
terrible
guy,
idea.
and he's like, yeah, I got like 4 Swift GTs at home, so I just grabbed an engine. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, I really wanted to put a V6 in the back, so it'd be twin engine. I was like, oh, well, that's cool. That's a good idea. I'm like, which V6 would you use? Like a Duratec or a, GM? He's like, no, like out of a Grand Vitara. And I was like,
What?
what? And this dude daily drives an Aereo. He owns Suzuki Swifts, and he wants to use a Vitara V6. This is the only Suzuki car enthusiast I've ever met in my entire life, and it's kind of amazing.
And he's dedicated. It's one thing if you just like the one car and you're like, oh yeah, it's
Right.
cool. No,
Right.
The thing is,
you're
the
that
Vitara,
dedicated.
the Vitara V6 never came in anything with a transverse drivetrain. It was all longitudinal. So,
That's
oh,
true
It only
dedication.
came in the
yeah. Wow. All right.
Vitara.
Hey, good for
All
them.
right. Well, those are the past races. I know we have some upcoming. This weekend, Champ Car is headed to Pit Race. They have 74 cars listed to start, so that should be fun.
Wow, an actual decent turnout for them. 25 terribly boring BMWs, 11 Miatas, 6 Hondas, 4 Porsches, and a Chevy Beretta. That's the cool kid.
Who let
there.
those guys in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously.
right? So some standouts, the rbankracing.com and their CRX, 69 nice racing. 69? Nice.
Nice.
Right? It's not written here this way. I'm sorry, I had to go back on that. Racing and a Prelude, they've both done pretty well. The RVA Graphics and a boring BMW is usually a contender, as is McKibben's Biohazard Racing. The folks from Saline are also running their 2 condiment cars, ketchup and salt. And I love that they have a sense of humor. That makes me very happy.
Salt. They have a salt car? I knew they had a ketchup and a mustard car.
And a charcoal.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh, well.
All right. Eric, before we get to Lemons at the Ridge, you wanted to talk about Gingerman, also coming up October 11th and 13th.
Yeah, so the Gingerman race is the Tony Swan Never Say Die Memorial 500. We named it after the late Tony Swan, who's a venerable automotive journalist and been racing Levin since at least 2009. I think he raced at Nelson's Ledges first, so 10 years ago.
And you guys got to know him for all the trips to the penalty box, from what I understand.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Tony was a uncompromising person in all facets of his life, but for the entire time that I knew him, he was fighting pretty hard with cancer and kind of never gave up. And it was just a really great kind of reminder and affirmation of the actual human spirit behind the people who come and do Lemons. So, and Tony obviously is a good friend of Jay's, so we really wanted to do something to honor him. So we are kind of pushing that race as a fundraising race for Alex's Lemonade Stand in Tony's memory. So there are a couple ways you can help out with that. You can go online, and the link should be in a blog post that I gave you guys a link to. So hopefully in the show notes, you'll be able to find that. And you can just donate directly to our ALSF page. Or if you are in person at the race, you can donate to Diane DeCola, who will be there. You guys know her pretty well.
Yep. No,
Absolutely.
Diane very well.
So she and some of the Keystone Cops guys will be there hanging out. You can donate to them directly or on I don't know if it's Friday or Saturday night, but they're going to do the Rust Belt Racing folks are hosting valve cover racing, which is like
it's like Pinewood Derby, but with car parts.
Yeah, with valve covers, engine valve covers. So I got my
That sounds awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be great. I have all the stuff to finish making mine with my daughter in the next couple weeks, and I'll have an entry for that. Everybody else should have one. It's $5, I think, to buy into the race, and it's like a bracket style race. Or if you don't want to race it, you can build one. And they're going to have like a car show, but for valve covers. So decorate it however you want, $5 entry into that. And then for the car show or the valve cover show or whatever you want to call it, you can vote with dollars for your favorite. So, the car with the most dollars wins whatever the prize happens to be. So those are all the things that are happening with that. And also, it's a huge race. We got 96 people entered for Gingerman. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow. May I ask what valve cover you have chosen for your
I have
your
it's kind of dark in here, but I have it behind me actually.
All right, so we're going to play Guess the Valve Cover? Okay.
All right. Can you guess what that's out of?
All right, so
it's ribbed.
Yeah,
it's 4 ribs.
It's orange and green.
It's red.
Red, okay.
Yeah, it's probably hard to see in the light.
It is.
Has
very
2 breathers.
It's long.
It smells like GM to me.
Yep.
But it's from a V8, though. It's too big for a V6 and not big enough for an i6.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You're both right.
It's got to be the mouse motor. Tree fitty.
It's not a tree fitty.
It's not a tree fitty.
No, Eric wouldn't go that simple. He's got to get something weird.
I saw this thing in the junkyard, and I hopped in my car to go pull the valve cover off it because it's not something that's in the junkyard very often around here. But if you know your 60s and 70s engine colors, red should be the tip off.
Yeah, that's not Pontiac was blue. Oldsmobile's
Pontiac
gold.
was blue. Yeah.
Chevy was orange. So what the hell's left? Cadillac? I don't think they were red. All right, I'm out of gears. GMC? No. All right, I'm out of guesses.
Yeah, it's out of a Buick Electra.
Oh, okay.
So,
Come on, why didn't you know that?
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's an actual Buick 350, but all the stuff looks the same. So
yeah,
who knows? But yes, I do have an entry, and I'm going to build it. So pretty
excellent. There are standard rules for valve cover racing, right? There's wheel rules and things. Is there anywhere where somebody can look up the rules package to build, or?
Yeah, so it's instead of making it complicated like the real valve cover racers, they just made kind of a standard set of rules. All that is in the same blog post with the link to the ALSF page, but I think it's 10 pounds is the maximum, and there's a maximum wheelbase and dimensions and all that stuff. But
cool,
you
can find all that in there, or just bring whatever because nobody's really going to care that much.
No,
no. All right. Fantastic. So the Ridge is coming up too. That's another small race. 29 cars, but what a great track. We love it up there. 1 BMW, 1 Miata. That's a wonderful start to a race with only one of each of those. 2 Hondas, a Porsche, and a Previa. There's as many Previas as BMWs. That's a good start.
And Miatas.
Yep.
And a van again. There are more vans than there are BMWs.
I'm going to be talking about vans and things in a minute. So
there are fewer Subarus than expected, which is great. Tetanus onset Volvo is always a threat with that ridiculous motor that Anton put in there in the great driving. The winningest Corrado in endurance racing history among all of the winning Corrados.
One.
Yes.
That is one.
Yeah.
It won once.
Yep. The crap
It's done well other times, though.
It has.
It has
yep.
done well.
And then there's Jeep Tricks. Who knows? Jeep's done well in that part of the country. I don't know who's running that or what kind of Jeep, but good for them. Yep.
Yeah, minivans, they're all over this place. I am so excited by the Transcontinental Drifters 91 Previa. I must know, is it all-wheel drive? Is it supercharged? Is it stick? I am waiting with bated breath to see the pictures on the internet.
They've run this before, I think, and it's El Caminoized. Yeah.
Yeah. They chopped the back off it. I don't think it's...
I think that was a stick NA.
No, I think it's an automatic... NA, so it's not like it's not an exciting one, but it's still a Previa.
Still a Previa. The Citroen Commandos have a 91 Vanagon, which is pretty
Subaru
cool.
swapped.
A Subaru
fast.
swap.
It's basically a WRX. That's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah.
Well,
It's-
decidedly not a minivan. There's also a 72 Vega of radioactive, so that could be interesting.
Yeah,
But that
not nearly
Vanagon
enough
must cook.
Vegas and lemons. We need more Vegas.
Yeah.
The Foking Fast in their 94 Integra. These are the funny ones. We are pole position in an 85 Golf. Oh, I'm very sorry. We'll see how that goes. The Axe Hole Racing in the Neon, and the historically funny non-player special in a 96 Subaru Legacy Wagon. Okay,
Excellent.
we're going to listener feedback. Okay, so we were working on the Solstice. At the 3 p.m. headquarters, and I was doing we were doing a lot of grinding and cutting, and I decided to ask the masses, what you working on? We got a whole lot of car work.
Yeah, Donnie, our boy Donnie down in FLA, got a long roof Buick Roadmaster Estate Limited Collector's Edition running that's probably been sitting in his yard. I'm going to say that again. It's a long roof Buick Roadmaster Estate Limited Collector's Edition, and then promptly set fire to the leaves that were in the exhaust manifold. So that's always fun. Ranwen Park Racing was working on their power steering issue in the Oldsmobile Omega that developed in Buttonwillow, and I guess it ended the race for them. Is it possible to not race just because you don't have power steering?
They were like 11th overall when that happened in an Omega. Yeah.
So maybe it ended their chances of winning.
Yeah.
I think they finished. Maybe not.
Yeah. So
remember
Farron-Check,
the power steering is like integral to the belt routing and all that crap, and you need a pulley puller because that was a great idea.
Oh yeah.
Oh, pulley pullers.
I have 2 GM pulley pullers. I don't think we've ever bought one. I know I've never bought one.
We did. We definitely
Yeah.
did. I think we bought one emergency. We bought one. Yeah.
Or
we
did we rent it and never return it?
I think so. Yeah. Which means
Anyway,
we bought
Matt
it.
Farron-Check. Yeah, we bought it. Finished a shed ramp. I'm not really sure what a shed ramp is, but he's working on getting room in his garage for his Galaxy, so not that much. And then he posted 10 pictures of all the not much he was doing.
Okay.
That was funny.
Randy said his team's working on the Nigerian Pinto for Gingerman in a few weeks, so that's always good. Listener number 6, Jen S., was being dorky, slaying dragons, no cars to work on, and no idea of how to do that. And we still have to give her her fabulous prize that Jeff brought for her.
Yeah.
Pretty
So,
much.
here,
I told her.
waiting.
I told her there was a fabulous prize, but did not tell her what it was because I know she's going to be so
we can't tell
excited.
what it is until she has it, and tell her the wonderful story of it.
Did you tell her it was Star Wars related, or did I just let that out of the bag?
You just let that out of the
You
bag?
just let it out of the bag.
Okay, all right.
Top
I won't
tip.
say anything else.
Yep, because now she's actually going to want to pick it up.
I know.
Yep.
That's why I said it.
Right. Brett S. was working on domination in the wet at Brainerd. Denise was autocrossing at Daytona, holding down a solid 3rd place. Nice job, Denise.
Oh.
And Santiago was adding some crazy rock protection for his FRS BR's whatever 86 thing.
All of those.
Jeff?
Santiago also introduced a new sponsor for his car. So you get started to do some podiums. You get started adding sponsors. It was only on his rear view mirror. So I don't know if that's like a big sponsorship or a little sponsorship.
That's the $2 sponsor spot.
Exactly.
You know what? For rally, the way you show people most anything happening in rally is from onboard footage. So I would guess the mirror is kind of not a bad place.
Yeah.
Good call.
It was,
Good
There
call
you go.
there.
Thanks.
Or the underside of the
for
car. Or under the hood, actually.
educating
That's a good spot for rally.
Right?
When the hood's
All
up,
of the
you
above.
know. Yeah. So, hey, lots of
Yes,
people
we have
posted up. Thank you so much for sharing your awesome projects. And everyone's working hard. It's that time of year. Yeah. You know who else is working hard because it's that time of year?
Really? Don't we
I
usually
gotta
try and convince the guest?
I was hoping
say hi
that
to
he
He
Chris?
would.
did. He was trying to lead him on.
Oh.
That's fine.
Eric.
He's not listening.
Eric, say
Not
hi to
listening.
Chrissy's mom.
Hey, Chrissy's mom. I thought that was where this was going and not transitioning into talking about me.
No, it wasn't. It was transitioning to you saying hi to Chrissy's mom, so that was good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah,
That's all right. That's all right.
it's good.
Sorry.
All right, let's actually talk to Eric for a change instead of just forcing him to talk. We have with us Eric Rood, the everything bagel of lemons. He's going to talk to us about things we don't know because they're not yet posted on the internet. And we can also probably talk to him about some of the evil things that Jay said about you a couple weeks on the podcast.
Oh man.
So
You know what? I listened to that episode. I was like, God, I got
You
Jay?
did.
What is Jay doing? Jay doesn't do things like that.
Apparently, he was
I
bored
asked him that, and he
or drunk.
No,
or
something.
Yeah, I was gonna say you caught him either before or after cocktail hours. What happened there?
Okay,
Right.
perfect.
He was
Definitely not
chatty.
during.
That's good.
No, Jay's always a great guest. Anytime
Although
I've heard anything, but
We're-
yeah.
we were pretty
He refused
excited.
to go- He refused to go on video though, so we have no idea if he was drinking.
Oh yeah, totally.
I can only hope
I
he
mean,
was.
it's fine.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he was.
That was
Yeah,
good.
it's
I kind of
fine.
miss seeing Jay at the races. We used to have good conversations with him. I enjoyed it, so it's nice to have him here.
Jay will be at Gingerman and one of the other races at the end of the year. So, if I was on top of it, I would actually know these things. But
Yeah.
Being
anyway,
on top of it is not part of being an everything bagel, apparently. So
that's right. They just give me everything, and then I'm under everything.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
why don't
That's
we?
not true at all. But
That's fine. I was going to say, why don't we open it up with you describing? We'll allow you to retort, as Julius would say. Why don't you explain what exactly you do for Lemons? Because he kind of made it sound like you just do you pick up his dirty underwear. You if he's got some dry cleaning, you
Walk
buy
the
a scarf for his wife's birthday. These are all the things that he kind of made it sound like you do for Lemons. Why don't you?
That'd be really hard to do from 2,200 miles away, I have to say. The big things I do are I do the social media, I maintain the blog, I do some website update stuff, I track website numbers, I reach out to rookies and kind of do, I guess, customer service. I really don't know what you call that. Do some planning, some project management stuff that we just are kind of working on behind the scenes. I don't know. There's a giant list of projects that we kind of are muddling through. That's kind of an ever-present churn. It's all really uninteresting stuff, actually, when you get down to it. So there's always just things that I'm working on.
Yeah, well, you do go to races and judge and things, right?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of
so-
part of the deal. You know,
Every
do all that stuff.
staff member has to do that, right?
And then you do your 12 or 15 races a year, or whatever the number ends up being. So
Well,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So we hear you're here to pimp some new races that are coming up. Is this true?
Well, I know when people look at me, they think, "Man, that dude is pimping some stuff."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah, do.
Yeah, so the 2020 schedule is literally 95% done. We are waiting on one track to get us to return a message, basically. And it's a track that's been on the schedule forever, so we're not really sure what's going on with that. But anyway, the schedule's
Question: Are you going to talk about things that are not yet published on the web and not yet discussed on any other major Lemons racing podcast? Is this
You're asking
exclusive?
If this is, there we go. Yes, let's say that. I'm
Yay!
Whoa! Whoa!
You gonna
Okay.
write? You could put this down on the calendar next to Nelson's Ledges anniversary is Everyone Racer's first Lemons exclusive is going.
Yeah.
Not our first exclusive, but we're excited to have it.
We are happy.
Sorry
Tell
for
us
the
about the-
condescension.
I think the
Tell
other
us about the
exclusive we had
2020
was from
schedule.
you before, actually. So
True.
What was that? I don't even remember.
You told us rallies that weren't published yet.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we can do that. We'll do that. But the race schedule is about 95% the same as it was this year. You know, move the dates a day or two, whatever the calendar does, in accordance with leap year, as it is in 2020.
Ooh,
Um,
who knew?
There's one minor adjustment to one of the California dates, and we've added a new track for next year in California, which is, care to guess?
Not Laguna. It's too small.
No.
Willows?
Yep, we're going to Willow Springs.
All right.
Oh.
Cool.
Has Lemons ever been to Willow Springs?
Nope, first time.
No. Excellent.
So that's kind of the big change. Everything else roughly the same. Hoop-de-con. I don't think I'm ruining anything by saying that's going to be at New Jersey again this year.
Cool. It was a good time last year.
Yeah.
We just can't participate. That's the sad thing. Is like we like to go. We've done it before when it was in Philly, and we went to the show, but we can't bring the car too.
We didn't make too much of an effort to we could have brought something over, but
I believe we're supposed to be. I believe we have Thunderbolt booked.
Oh, that's what I was
year.
just going to ask.
Yay.
Okay. Yay! Now we're.
And if I remember this correctly from what we've kind of sketched out, the likelihood is that the show will be inside the track, so it'll be in the paddock.
Oh yes, because the paddock is much
there's
bigger
lots of
over
room.
there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Great.
So that should make that easier for you guys.
That's fun.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
So when the car
great.
breaks, we can just wheel it over there and stick
That's
it in the
right.
field.
Just roll it on in. Yeah.
So we added in 2019 Pittsburgh. So is Pittsburgh on the schedule again?
I would say very much likely. Yes.
Okay. That's a non-committal.
Mhm.
That's
So
awesome.
So they're saying
It's
there's a
pretty much.
chance. All right.
Yeah. There's a chance.
awesome.
Like I said, it's 95% the same with like one date that's moved a couple weeks and then a new track. So
Yeah, I like the schedule this year. Like in the Northeast, at least, it was spread out nicely. You know, not all back to back, no 3-month gaps. Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to do, especially if you have a race like Pittsburgh that kind of bridges two regions.
Yeah.
You know, Pittsburgh's closer to Detroit than Chicago is. So, you know, we consider it an East race, but it's probably going to draw as many Detroit teams as Autobahn would.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Do you just have like a big spreadsheet of all this? Like, what's the logistics of this aside from, well, we'll just do what we did last year, which is.
it lives in Jeff Glenn's head, mostly.
Did he die? Is he okay, by the way?
Jeff Glenn is good. Yeah, he was at Button Willow. We were keeping an eye on him. He was doing well. Usual Jeff, spry, running about.
Yeah.
Talking fast.
Good.
And his spleen is still connected or whatever the hell blew up inside of his gut. the other
He no
week.
longer has an appendix. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spleen is more funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's more of a problem actually.
Yeah, it
There's a lot of
is.
people
Yeah.
that don't have appendixes.
Yeah.
You don't appendices.
A ruptured spleen is kind of a big deal. Turns
Yeah.
out.
Right,
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure. You actually need that. You don't need your appendix.
Yeah. Yeah.
So awesome. So all the tracks are coming back, or mostly the tracks coming back. The schedule is mostly the same. So we can. When will this publish, and we can start telling our wives what holidays we will be missing?
Furiously
soon-
reserving our numbers. No.
Yeah.
Right?
As soon as we get confirmation of the last track, we'll put it live. We basically have everything more or less in place to set it live, but we're not going to do it without the full schedule.
Yeah.
Good
excuse me.
idea. It's harder
Great.
to take back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Other events. What about rallies?
So we have 5 rallies this year. There are 2 standbys that'll be kind of where they have been for the last several years. We're bringing back one very long distance rally that you may be able to guess at, and we are going to have 2 brand new ones.
All right. Bringing back
Sure,
a long
new
distance
one.
rally. I think I can guess that one.
Yeah.
All right. New ones. No, any indication of the basic areas of the country for these new ones?
Sure. I'll just tell you that one of them is in Colorado, and
Excellent.
one of them is in New England.
Excellent.
Ooh, a New England rally.
I like
Very
'em
excited
both.
by that.
Oh.
So there you go.
See, now every year we keep threatening to do this rally thing.
It's so hard to take off because we're doing the race schedule. It's
Yeah.
so hard to take off that extra week and spend all that vacation time.
Yeah. Well, we're working on making them more accessible. We're trying out some new formats this year, and we're going to see how they work.
Something shorter, something where I only have to take 3 or 4 vacation days would definitely increase the access.
Boy, it's like you're reading my mind.
I know.
It's weird.
Wow. Yeah, we're going to Le Mans this year. That's definitely cutting into our long vacation times, but seems also worth it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm jealous. I still haven't been.
What was the shortest? What was the shortest one this year? Poker Run, Florida Man.
Yeah, that was.
Was that only 4 days?
4 days. The retreat from Moscow has only been 4 days, also. So
that seems like a pretty terrible 4 days, though. I mean, yes, good in the way of. I went on safari, and what happened? Well, the rhino trampled my tent, and the monkey took my lunch, and the hippo flipped my boat, and I got chased by the lion. Did you have a good time?
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to do it again. It's usually what it is. I hated every moment of it, and then at the end, when's the next one?
Exactly.
Yep.
That's good. Hey, that's good for you guys.
Yeah, it's like Stockholm Syndrome, which is kind of the whole Lemons thing in general, but the rally seems particularly more
I think the rallies are way more abusive to your life and lifestyle because it's and it's from the very first race that we were ever at. I said, why am I not excited? Because I just blew the head gasket on my Wartburg because my RV is right there and my lunch is right there. I'm not on the side of a highway trying to hone drum brake wheel cylinders with a frickin' toothbrush and lemony pledge. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. There's a certain kind of excitement that comes with that, though. It's totally. called the fear of dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or arrest.
You know what's even crazier? Oh, I'm sorry. The people that do a race and then a rally, or vice versa.
Yeah.
That is crazy because we were talking to Jan, who has brothers in racing, and she's now my new BFF.
Yes.
Jan's
great.
Jan is awesome. So she's doing I think she's doing the Texas rally, right?
She is.
Is.
I just talked to her today about that. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We saw the rabbit she bought from Rich. It looks very nice, but.
Oh, she bought his rabbit? I've known about that rabbit. He's tried to pawn that off on me several times.
Yeah. But she really loves it. She drives around town and she takes pictures of herself with it, and it's cute. It looks like in really good condition, but I don't think it has back seats, and she's bringing kids, so I think that was the next thing she had to work on. Anyway, so she's taking a rabbit to the race and then the rally, and I think that's just a separate, different group of crazy that they when people do both of them.
Yeah, I think the high point for that was when Roger took the Jet Electrica on the Florida Man rally immediately after a 24-hour race.
He had the
Roger's a special kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree with that entirely.
He had the generator under the hood.
Yeah.
The 2-cycle generator, and then he realized it was too hot, so he moved it to the passenger seat.
You know what's great about that is they drove that thing to the CMP race a few weeks ago, and Jason Torchinsky was there. And Jason Torchinsky looked at that thing and said, "Damn, that's crazy."
Shoot.
I feel like we should actually bridge this gap and take this moment to talk about some electric vehicles, because we talked to Jay and we got Jay's opinion, but you've been around the block and you've seen some of the crazies that have happened. Mm-hmm. What do you think the future of the electric car is in Lemons? Is Jay going to keep his $50,000 for his entire life? Does anyone have a chance of beating this electric problem? Jay seems to think so.
I think it's very circumstantial, but I think it's possible. It'll take the right race, and when I say that, I mean a small race, with the right car built correctly, with the right 2, maybe 3 drivers who have done Lemons a bunch to know how to win a race, basically. Because I think it's one thing to build the right car, but winning a Lemons race is different than winning
Any other kind of race.
Any other kind of race. Yeah, it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a team of veteran racers with an E36, you can show up and probably you might be able to win first time out. But doing all that with the electric car and everything, and having the margins of error that much smaller for the battery swaps and stuff. Everything just has to go right, and you'd have to have drivers who know how to make it work. And have done so with probably a couple different kind of cars.
Yeah.
So you foresee this being a Lemons team that attacks this problem, not some like random group of engineering students who convince Randy Popes to show up and drive their electric car all weekend.
I think it's going to be both. I think somebody's going to figure out the right way to build the car. And if they're smart, they'll look around and say, I want, Pete from Cerveza and, Dan Galis from Black Iron, and I want, they'll cherry pick their driver roster. And I think that's the right way to do it if you were going to go that route. But, whether or not, you don't even know if those three drivers or whoever you pick are going to work well together either. So there's so many variables in it. Somebody will figure it out at some point, but it's not going to be in the next year or two.
Yeah.
I can say that. Yeah. I think with certainty.
I don't think we're going to get an electric car to finish a race in a year or two. I think there is going to be a large learning curve.
Yeah, I think the idea for me would be to start small, and just not try to push, the power too much, or spend 4 or 5 races just learning what it's like to endurance race an electric car, because nobody's done it. That's the fascinating part to me, is that it's not something anybody's done. Nissan attempted it very poorly several years ago with the Ziad, if you guys remember that, which was like the Delta Wing, but it was supposedly it was a hybrid version of the Delta Wing that was supposed to be able to run laps on electric only power at like 180 miles an hour or whatever at Le Mans. It ran 2 laps and then it blew the hell up. Like, so there's nobody's ever done more than that. This is ironically, Lemons is charting like actual real racing new territory, and that's kind of frightening in its own way.
So the Jet Electrica may be one of the most successful electric endurance racing cars ever made at this point.
As far as I know, it's done more mileage in a weekend than any other one.
Wow.
Yeah, because even like the Formula E, they're swapping entire cars, so you can't say...
Well, they're not doing that now, but they're running, what is it, 50 minutes? How far can you run in 50 minutes?
Yeah.
Even at 100 miles an hour, you're running, no more than 80 miles.
Right. I'm just getting warmed up by 50 minutes into the stint.
Right.
Right.
So the Jet Electrica, if it's run 100 miles in a weekend on electric-only power, which I'm pretty sure it has run more miles during a race weekend than probably anything else, which is absolutely weird and fascinating. Somebody prove me wrong, by the way. I want somebody to prove me wrong. And
I don't. I like that story better.
Well, I was going to say, you are like the Lemons historian who also has chops in covering actual racing, I guess, a little. So if anybody's going to know it, it's going to be you.
Yeah. Like I said, I want somebody to come show me where I'm wrong. Maybe somebody's raced a Tesla for a weekend and has it logged. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. So going on to the Lemons historian thing, tell us what are your favorite cars that haven't run yet that you think that we need to have? Because you're the one who did the big database and knows which cars are the most successful. And
so Jeff, you don't see the lists that Eric puts out of here are cars we want to have. Like,
no, but those are heavily Phil influenced.
I don't know.
The
Renault Medallion. Mostly,
come on. That is one of my my albatrosses. I so want to see one of those. There might be 12 of them left in the country. I don't know. That might be generous. I do know where one is. which is scary, and I'm glad it's far away from me. There's a lot of really bad cars that we've never seen. An Edsel comes to mind. We still haven't had an Edsel. I think there's one registered for Houston, but, whether or not it's actually an Edsel, I don't know till we show up.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of those. That's not even that rare.
No, it's just so
they're getting old, though.
Nobody
esoteric
wants to
and
do it.
old, and they're also worth money now because anything, 60
Anything
years old
weird.
is worth money.
Yeah.
It's gotten past the point of being weird, and it's just old now in a way that is iconic of its generation. It was the pushing the fins and everything too far. What else, man? I really want to see a Dodge Avenger RT, like a 2012. I think that'd be a great bad Lemons car, because there's no way that thing's gonna finish half a day.
And the late ones you could get with a Pentastar, which had some good power, but the rest of the cars are a giant turd. That
it's 300 horsepower, being run by an electrical system designed in 2001. So. Anything Chrysler from the last 20 years is absolutely fantastic. A Crossfire would be great.
See, we looked for a Crossfire. We had no luck in finding anything that was...
Not even on Copart?
We ended up with the Z instead, but the Crossfire was definitely one we were solidly considering if the right one had come into our lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd the Z work out? Still sitting in my... I can see it from where I'm sitting right now.
About as well as a Crossfire would have. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the wish list pulled up. I mean, I've got some favorites on there. Let's see. What's on this one?
Is there anything GM that's left?
Oh, there's so much left. There's so much left. An Oldsmobile LSS.
I don't even know what that is.
It was a
Cadillac,
fancy 88.
etc. Are you familiar with the Cadillac, etc.? The ETC? That's a real
Eldorado
thing.
Oh,
Touring Coupe,
yeah,
yes.
the ETC.
Yep.
Yeah.
North
Yep.
Star. Although the Alante has proven if you go back far enough, the Cadillac 4100 and 4900 are great endurance racing motors, apparently.
Turns out, man. Turns
Yeah.
out. The Datsun F10, we haven't had a Hillman Minx. There's so much GM stuff that we haven't seen. It's kind of amazing. Pontiac 6000, we've never had one of those. Mercury Comet, we've never had one of those. Dodge Diplomat, somehow haven't had one of those.
Pontiac
There's a bit of
6000.
Diplomat.
That was a good. That was a performance sedan back in the day. The STE.
Yeah. Yep, the STE. That's right. All-wheel drive, man. We haven't had an Acura Vigor. You know what the car I really want to see is a Phaeton with a W12.
They are going to be Lemons priced I'm sure there's ones out there now that are.
They were
Lemons
about
priced.
a week after they left the dealership.
Yep, pretty much.
A month. How about
I
that?
saw one in a junkyard once that was riddled with bullet holes. It was pretty good.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, when they show up enough in the U-Pullet yards, that's your clue. They're appropriately for Lemons ready.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. If you are, we're going to move to the advice section. Help out our listeners out there, because you also constantly have been updating the most successful and the least successful cars of Lemons.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a new Lemons person and you want the easy button, what should a new Lemons team go out there and buy? And I'm going to say, Bill, don't go buy this before he answers.
When you say easy button, do you mean easy button to win, or you just want a car that's going to give you the fewest amount of headaches?
I want a car that's going to be as successful as possible without being something that a rookie team could put together.
My recommendation still is the car that I raced, not because I'm biased, but because they've actually done really well in Lemons, which is anything based on the Mazda Familia platform. So that's the Protege, the MX-3, 323, the Ford Escorts, the 91 and the ZX2, the GT and the ZX2, the Mercury Capri, the front wheel drive one, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
Not the Australian built one.
No, that one. That's the one.
That one.
Oh, that's the one. Okay. That could
Yeah.
be- okay.
Same
the
Mazda
Australian-
chassis. Yep.
Yep, all that stuff. The motors are all tough.
Yeah, BP, right?
Yeah, the
Mazda
BP and then the Z-Tech and the later ZX2s. The parts are, especially for the Escorts, the parts are easy to find and cheap, just dirt cheap. If you want to go newer than that, the Focus has also been a fairly reliable car, except for the one that caught on fire last weekend.
Yeah, right. It was fun until you mentioned it now.
Great, right
Yep.
until they catch fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or until they
Yep.
get pushed off the track into the guardrails.
Yeah.
Oh,
They don't do
that's
well
true.
when that happens too.
Mhm. If you want a rear-wheel drive car, man, I think like a Mercedes 300E, like the W124, I think that's probably where I'd go. It's not going to be easy to work on or uncomplicated, but they're usually
solid.
automatic and they're solid. Yeah,
It's European. It has panache.
yeah. Or you can always just go Mustang. Mustang's fine too.
Yeah, the SN95 chassis seems to be like the appropriate Lemons chassis at the moment. The Fox bodies are either too ragged out or too drag penalized right now.
Yeah.
And-
I would say like an SN95 with a V6, probably
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah, we
did
raced a
have
bunch.
we did have our first Lemons car with ladder bars that I've ever seen, by the way, at CMP. There was a Jensen Healy that had been an old drag car, and they attempted to road race it with ladder bars.
I'm sure that worked very well.
They made it one corner, and then it spun, and then they're like,
No. Oh, that's sad.
That's pretty funny.
Take a car that actually handled okay for its time and make it terrible.
exactly.
Why would
yeah.
anyone drag race a Jensen Healy?
Small
I-
and
I-
light.
Like,
Yep.
really? I don't know. And I'm not saying it's not small and light. I'm just saying there are other small and light out there that
Well,
you don't have to.
The Lotus 907 engine was in its, the natural state with the cylinder head in the trunk. So no one else knew what to do with it. So there you go. Put a Chevy in it.
There you go.
It's in the South. That's what they
There's
do.
a tree fitty Foboat main. So, yeah.
That 4-barrel?
That's exactly-
Spray it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nitrous is
All right.
to the roof. Well, awesome. Eric, you have, I think, answered every question we've thrown at you. Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to either pimp or talk about or preview for us?
Just email me if you want to talk about Nelson's Ledges, which you surely do. If you were there.
Yeah.
I don't
If you
care
just want
weren't
to, just
there.
want to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I'll email you. I don't know anything about it. I wasn't there, but, here's my phone
I
number.
just wanna
Call me.
talk.
We'll talk.
Yeah, let's not have that. So if you were at Nelson's Ledges 10 years ago, shoot me an email. Some of your listeners may be at Gingerman, and I'll talk to them in person, which I'm actually pretty excited about.
Awesome.
Good idea.
Great.
That's it. I got nothing else.
Cool.
Schedule soon. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, we'll see your Lemon schedule soon. We'll see you at races. We'll see you at rallies. We'll see you at Nelson's Ledges if they ever choose to return.
Nope.
Nope.
That-
Nope.
nope.
Couldn't happen.
Nope.
Ew.
It will have to get like a free rental if that's going to be the case.
There you go.
Even then,
Even
I don't
then.
know.
Even then,
Yeah.
they apparently have flushable toilets now.
Well, that's nice
so
as
a
opposed to
thing.
the holes in the
Oh.
ground they had before.
The pit toilet. Yeah. Yeah.
It's never a good
Well,
What
idea.
an
I'm
incredible
sorry I
smell you
missed-
discovered.
It's
There we
exactly
go.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to move into our final piece of the day, which I believe, Chris, you're going to present as a hella sweet or but terrible.
Yeah, sure. So everyone knows the SEMA show. Everyone's heard of it. It's the Society of Aftermarket
Tell-
Automotive Stuff, right?
Tell me about it.
Well,
What's
it's
it-
where
what's it like?
all companies that make automotive aftermarket stuff go there and show their wares, and it's a lot of crazy builds and ridiculous things and scantily clad models and wacky stuff. So it's held in Las Vegas every year.
And lots of race car parts and a lot of performance tire and wheel companies will show their new models, meaning like their new parts, not their
Yes.
new like
Ladies.
ladies.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, like, oh, we have this new tire. It's round and black and holds air. It's amazing.
But doesn't it look cool?
Yep.
Come rub it.
Oh.
Yeah. So, anyway, this SEMA show exists, and we thought, wouldn't it be funny if we applied for press passes? Well, Mental did, and we actually got them. So, we're saying, like, well, crap, what do we do now?
Oh, shakies. It's in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the United States of America.
And it's a whole week. So we're trying to decide, should we actually go to this? Because we didn't think we had a chance in hell of actually getting press passes, but here we are. So
We just figured we'd accept the no. Like,
yeah.
oh, well, when they say no, we're like, all right, well, we asked.
I mean, I don't have anything to do that week. And I think I've got a couple
Yeah, I don't
extra
think I do
PTO days
either.
to take. So I let's go around the horn. Hella sweet or but terrible, should we go? And I'm going to say hella sweet. Like, let's give it a shot. Why not? We can stay with Mental. We'll find a way. It'll work out.
So, yeah, call us around. Who else has to answer?
Yeah, Jeff.
All right, here's my answer. So I broached the topic with the lovely and talented Jennifer. And I have already agreed and committed to a Boy Scout camping trip that weekend. And I said, what if I went like Tuesday through Thursday? And she said, oh my God, that's going to cost? I was like, flights are about $200. She's like, maybe you should go. So I don't know. I'm thinking, how could we not go to a show that, I mean, it's industry only. We could wear like cool swag and give out business cards and maybe actually like book some guests that are, like not Eric Rood. I mean,
Screw that guy.
I mean, they're never going to be as good, but what are you going to do?
No, they won't be as
They
funny.
won't replace him. They
They won't
just
replace him, exactly.
Man,
So,
he just
yeah,
got a low bar.
I think
Well, you knew that
I
a long
think-
time ago.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Oh.
except for the potential divorce, there's no fail in this plan.
Well, the divorce is over there. It's not with us because if Chris is going, I'm going. So there's that.
All right, what should we look at? Rude, you got any thoughts on
Eric,
this?
thoughts?
I would never go to SEMA, but that's me. If you go, you guys have to get the mobility scooters, and then you just have to mow over people's ankles the entire time, because that's apparently the way to go to SEMA.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder if I can
So,
check
there you go.
check our jazzy.
Check the jazz.
The problem is when you roll it up to the checkout counter and you were like, okay, here it is. And then they're like, and you just get up and walk away. That
What do
doesn't
other,
usually
what do
go
other
well.
disabled people do?
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
It's a
that's-
mobility scooter. It's not a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
It's for people who can't walk long. Far, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well,
So
let's
I
have
have
to get
to
mental
say-
on getting us mobility scooters out in Vegas ahead of time.
Yeah. I have to say, we have actually purchased legit race car parts based on random YouTube videos from SEMA shows that we've seen. I mean, the Holly Hydromat, the video of them pumping out of the fish tank, like in the SEMA booth, is what convinced us to give it a try.
Yeah.
And we could not say a bad thing about that. The
Yeah.
Holly Hydromat has revolutionized our ability to drive for 4.5 hours until we get leg cramps.
All right.
Well, if I'm going to be totally honest, you guys are probably better off going to PRI, but you don't have credentials for that currently. So I understand the plight thereof.
Yeah.
Also, PRI is the same weekend as Road Atlanta, so I don't know if you guys are racing at that.
Well, we may get a free entry to that, so we don't know.
Yes. Me going to SEMA might jeopardize my ability to get the weekend off for Atlanta, so
We'll talk about it in New Hampshire, I guess.
we'll talk
but-
about it in New Hampshire, yeah.
All
All right, so there it is. Hella sweet or but terrible. The
Hell sweet.
podcast. Hella sweet.
Yeah, Eric
Yep.
said but terrible. I think everyone else was. Everyone
Eh.
else was. It wasn't really a hella sweet. It was a. Yeah, I guess. Right.
I wasn't one of the others, so I guess it's
No.
okay.
Yeah. It's a not. It's a hella okay. That's really.
If you're
I
staying for
bet-
free, that probably tips the
Well,
balance.
we would because
Yeah, we would.
Mentals.
Staying at mental health.
And
Who
we
is-
have press passes. We just need to get there and eat and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
if there's a town to eat cheap in, it's Vegas. I mean,
Are
right?
you, are you lying?
No, it's
They have
because
free
it's
buffets and stuff.
yeah, all
and-
the food is there to convince you to come into the hotel.
Oh, okay. Well, this is getting more convincing. I'm getting more excited about this.
Wow.
I like free food and snacks.
Everyone Racers at SEMA coming soon. Maybe. So thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this mental-less edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer. Even you, if you enjoyed the podcast. Subscribe. It is totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers, which, as far as I can tell, the only thing we do is talk to Donnie on our Instagram. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless you're a SEMA show card, then both sides are shiny. So just keep the big fat wheels down.